What's going on YouTube? Matt from GarageMC here. Today, we're going to start ripping this Raptor 700R down. It's taking up space. I don't have room for it. We're going to tear it down, start pricing out the parts, figure it all out, lay everything out, figure out where we're going to post them for sale, probably eBay, Marketplace, stuff like that. I don't know about you, but I don't like Marketplace. It's a waste of time. Everybody on there is cheap. They want something for free. Nobody wants to pay for nothing. They'll text you for 3 days straight, never show up anyway. But we'll probably give it a shot anyway. Let's get into it. You're not going to believe what the total of all these parts come to. The first thing we're going to do on this is we're going to start getting some of the stuff out of our way. The gas tank, anything that's easily able to be taken off of this thing, we're taking it off. Bag and tag, possibly box it if I have enough boxes, but I'm not going to film the whole disassembly procedure, but, you know, I'll give you guys a good idea of what's going on anyway. Stick around. All right, guys, taking the gas tank off is real simple. 4 10mm bolts, 2 in the back and 2 up in the front under the bar for the steering stem bushing. Sometimes taking these things apart, I laugh at some of the stuff people have done before. Somebody put a different fuel line from the fuel pump to the fuel rail that goes to the throttle body. And, I mean, maybe it's just me because I've been a plumber for like 18, 19 years now, but when you put a hose clamp on something, you really only need one, maybe 2 tops. But if you're going to use hose clamps, guys, when you put them, see how this one's facing this way? And this one, they're all facing the same way. At least flip them the other way around, because there is a flat spot where this screw is, and it doesn't do a complete seal. So if you put this one this way, and then turn the next one around the other way, you'll have a way better chance of it not leaking than doing something like this. But you definitely don't need 3 hose clamps. If you do, you're doing something wrong. You need to check what you're doing. The thing we're going to take off is we're going to get the air box out of our way. What it looks like there's an airflow sensor on the wire harness. There's a clamp at the front where it goes to the throttle body that takes a 5/32 Allen key. It should be a 4mm, but I'm missing my 4mm. But this is getting the job done. There's 4 10mm bolts in the back. This is what I see so far. If I find anything else, I'll definitely share it with you. We got the air box out. It was the 4 10mm bolts holding it to the subframe. The electronic, I believe it's like an airflow sensor. And there was 2 vacuum breather lines that went to the throttle body. This one was a pain in the ass to get off. And there was also a crankcase breather that went to the side of the air filter, air box. On to the next part. Part right after the air box was the battery tray. As far as this one only had 2 bolts in it. It was only had these 2 that were there, and there's also a part of the wire harness that goes on this section here. Came right off though. Next part that I went for were the headlight brackets. The one on the left side had looks like a little ballast or something for the headlights, or something to do with the wire harness. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not too familiar with these Raptors, but that's what was on the left side. The right side came off. It had the regulator attached to it, and also the coil for the ignition attaches to it as well. Everything was 10mm bolts except for the coil. It was 8mm. Other than that, it came off pretty easily. What holds them on to the frame is 2 10mm as well. Next thing that came off was the shield that goes under the gas tank. Wasn't really anything holding it in other than it just snaps into the frame and fits in ways that you wouldn't even think it would. After the other 30 million things and wires and cables were out of the way, it slid right out. All right, guys, subframe came off. What holds this in is 4 bolts. Holds it to the midsection frame. These are aluminum. It's kind of cheesy, actually. But it was 4 T50 Torx bits that held this onto the frame. So put this in the pile now, too. This thing was in the way. This is the whole wire harness. I'll probably clean it up a little bit and post it for sale, but I'm leaving every single thing connected to it. CDI, regulator, everything. The dashboard, the key, everything. All going to go as one pile. But as far as getting this off, there was a few clips that were holding it to the subframe, a couple zip ties here and there, and obviously unplugging it from everything. And it slid right out with a little maneuvering. On to the next part. This took a few minutes, but I got the foot pegs and the heel guards off. The left side was just a couple 14mm bolts and 5mm Allen head for the part that goes to the heel saver, or the heel guard, I mean, sorry. The right side was a little bit more entailed. It had, I'm leaving the whole brake system on here all the way to the rear caliper. Took it all off as one unit. Somebody's buying it and they need all that stuff. It's all there. I always include all the bolts and everything to go to it too. I'm sweating my ass off, but let's get to the next part. And be sure to stick around, because when everything's apart, I'm going to lay everything out, show you guys everything all blown apart, and then we'll go over what each individual part's worth and total up what the potential total amount of money that we're going to get from all the parts. And after everything sells, I'll make another video. We'll go over profit, what I paid for the quad, all that fun stuff. Let's get to it. One bonus that came with this quad, a little cream on the top, if you call it. It came with a Yoshimura full exhaust on it, and it's fairly new. So I just took that off. The silencer was already off the quad. I took it off like the other day or something. I forget when. But these are like $750 on eBay new. Like I said before, we'll go over what I'm going to charge for everything in the end of this video. Stick around. It was 4 12mm bolts that go into the studs in the head. They were all rusted, but little PB blaster overnight came right out. All right, guys, let's drain the coolant out of this thing and you know, just appreciate it for what it really is. You know, just a total piece of shit. This quad to me was not worth fixing. Not a fan of Raptors. I've had 660s in the past. Never had a 700 until this one, but it's like riding a horse. I'm more of a fan of like the 250R geometry, 400EX. But, you know, nice quad, fast. It'd be cool to put this motor in a 400EX. I do have a pile of 400EX frames. Maybe this motor doesn't sell. Maybe we will fix the case and see if we can slap it in there. But I think it's a little too tall for that frame. But I do have a welder, and I'm not scared to cut some stuff up and try some shit out. But let's drop the coolant out of this thing so we can get the rest of the throttle body off. I got that all disconnected now, and yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to take it apart from the lowest point. I have the cap off the radiator to vent it out so it comes out of these tubes a little faster. I think the quad is starting to realize that it's never going to be ridden again. It's starting to give me, oh, never mind. It's not giving me a hard time. Alright, yeah, that's going to make me have to go pee. Alrighty. There it is, guys. Gasping for air. I don't normally like tearing stuff like this down, but, you know, for the price of what it would cost to buy it apart, and then all the labor that goes into tearing this engine down and the other stuff that the quad needed, it just wasn't worth it to me. Plus, for what I paid for this thing, which you'll find out in another video, I'm not going to state what I paid for this quad. Not that it matters what I paid for it and what stuff sells for, but you know how people are. They're, you know, for some reason on Marketplace, you just get a lot of people wasting your time, and it drives me nuts. And you know, you give them a price for something, and I price things at fair market value or below just to move it. And you know, you always get those excuses like, well, I'm only using it for this, or I only want to do this with it, so I kind of don't want to pay that much. I don't care what you do with it after you buy it. I don't know where that excuse even comes into play. It makes no sense to me. Somebody talking to me about buying the cylinder head. Oh, I just want it for an extra cylinder head, so okay, great. Well, I have an extra one, but I want this much for it, so I don't know what to tell you. Or you get people on there calling you with absolutely no money. How are you calling me for parts and texting me for 2 days straight, but you have no money? Doesn't make no sense to me. But I don't need to get myself all pissed off and riled up, but it just drives me nuts, some of these people on here. I don't go to the mall with no money, you know. I can't go into Foot Locker and say, well, I'm only just going to wear these shoes when I go out. I'm not, you know, I'm not even going to work in them, so, you know, so I don't get it. But anyway, let's keep ripping this thing apart, guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys go through the same bullshit on Marketplace, because it just drives me insane. I can't stand it anymore. It's every time I put something on Marketplace, I kick myself in the ass later, like, why did I do this to myself again? But, you know, that's just the people you deal with. I guess it just comes with the territory. You're going to have window shoppers. You're going to have tire kickers, but 9.5 out of 10 of them are just that. So, you know, whatever. Let's keep going. Let's get this thing done. I am timing myself. So far, I'm an hour and a half in. Let's keep going. I'll start taking the head off of this, even though I know better, and the dude that wants to buy it probably ain't gonna come anyway, because it's from Marketplace. But I took the two 5mm Allen bolts out. We drew first blood, taking the quad apart. I gotta take the timing gear off of the cam gear, timing gear, whatever you want to call it. It's on there with two 10mm bolts, it appears to be. And then we could start taking, or you can just, you definitely want to go ahead and just fling your wrench across the room and stick it into the steering stem here. That's an absolute must when you're taking this apart. If you don't do that, then, you know, what are you even doing? If you don't get pissed off taking one of these things apart with old cruddy bolts and screws on it, there's something wrong with you. You have way too much patience, and you're a better man than I am. Alright, now that I'm going to take this out, however which way I can, it'd probably be wise to take the tensioner out, but I didn't, because I said it would be wise to do that. So, I'm sure there's a more proper procedure to doing this. I'm apparently not doing that procedure. I know it looks brutal, but I'm actually being quite gentle with it. Alright, like I said, the wise thing to do would be to take the timing chain, or tensioner out. Same thing, 5mm Allen bolts. At least you take the main bolts that hold it in out. It looks like maybe a 19mm that goes into the center of the timing chain tensioner. But I don't know. But I will check back with you guys as soon as I get this head off and let you know what else was in the way to get it out. Alright guys, I got the head off the quad. It was a little bit of a bitch to get off. There were two 12mm bolts coming from the bottom of the jug or the cylinder into the head. The one was alright to get off, like at the back of the engine where the starter is. The front one wasn't so easy. There wasn't really any room to get anything in there other than a ratchet, or I mean a wrench. It was like a very thin wrench, and there wasn't much leverage to work with. Got away from doing that without bashing my knuckles up any more than I already have, but here's the head. Got the head off the quad. I left it all in one piece. This is the haul so far. We have the headlight brackets, the gas tank with the fuel pump in it, the shield that goes under the gas tank with the breather hose, the battery tray, the air filter, both foot pegs with heel guards, and the whole rear brake assembly. The rear subframe. We got the Yamaha full exhaust. The whole wire harness, the throttle body, the cooling system, the cooling fan, the oil line that goes from the head to the case. And did I say the throttle body? Well, we got the throttle body too. And the ignition with the key. All the wire harnesses all together. The only thing that isn't there is the stuff that goes to the engine, which is the brake light switch, the brake indicator switch, whatever you want to call it. And there's a couple other things. Obviously the wires for the stator, whatever these other electronics are for this quad, neutral switch, reverse, you know, the light and everything. Still got to take the oil tank off and the reservoir for the coolant, and then we can get the engine out. I'm probably going to take a couple more parts and then cut this video, and then we'll do a part 2 of tearing this down because this video is getting lengthy as it is. If you guys are liking this type of content, I will do more of it after we get done with the other 400EX build, but throw your boy a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel. This shirt isn't normally dark gray, guys. I am soaked in sweat. Let me go edit this. Actually, no, wait, let me make a list like I said I would, price everything out, and let you guys know where we're at right now. Get back to you in 2 seconds. 2 seconds for you, probably 30 minutes for me to price all this out. Be right back. Stick around. Alright guys, so I couldn't find everything used for sale, but you're not going to believe what the total of all these parts come to, and I didn't even add up everything. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't even write down. So let's get into it. This is, I didn't even think it was going to be this much money, but and I'm going on the lowest figures that I can find on most of these parts that are for sale. Let's get into it. So we have, first thing that is big money on these is the frame without a title. The only one I could find had no title and it was damaged. It was going for $1,000. All right. The gear set inside the transmission, $600. The flywheel cover, 110 to 170. Clutch cover, 110 to 170. Water pump, $50 plus. Cylinder used, going for $130. Starters going for $70 to $110. The swing arms going for $150 to $300, and axles anywhere about $160. The rear brake disc hub with the disc on it, $75. Oil tank, $150. Coolant overflow tank, $30. Rear rims and tires, I mean, I found stock ones on there for like $250, but this is going to be like a marketplace deal. Those will probably just get rid of for $150 because they're just too heavy to ship. It wouldn't be worth it. Let's see, what else could I find? The headlight brackets, which are these here, about $40 to $50 a piece. The head with the cam and the covers and everything on it, anywhere from $450 to $650. If you were to take it apart, $450 for just the bare one. Cams, $110. Used valves and springs. I don't know why people buy used stuff like that, but $50. I couldn't find a price on the gas tank. I seen one the other day. The tank with a fuel pump in it was like $275. I found a fuel pump, just a fuel pump by itself, that was like $215. It's like ridiculous. The battery tray, which is that part there, I found one for $40. The radiator, $40 used. The radiator fan, $50. The hoses, $40. Couldn't find a throttle body. The harness, I found a harness for $240. The regulator alone, the regulator mount up, goes for $90. I found the air intake tube for sale. That was going for $50. The GYTR air box is like $150. Let's see, what else did I find? The stator's going for $150. The gear that goes on the back of the flywheel is like $25. The right engine case is $500. $500 for one piece of a case, one half. Used clutch setup with the basket and the pressure plate and all that, anywhere from $150 to $200. The crank is going for $280 used. The front brake lines, $50. The oil pump, $90. The flywheel gear, $70. The counterbalances in the motor, $130. All the little covers that go on the engine, like the oil filter cover and, you know, all that little stupid stuff, $70. The gear set, which I think I told you the price of a trans, but if I was to take it all apart, there's other stuff in there that's selling for hundreds of dollars, but the gear set alone, $600. Used front bumper, $100 to $120. So going with the lowest numbers on all these prices that I just put here, $6,440, guys. And that's not counting, I already sold the A-arms, the front hubs, and the calipers the other night for $580. I mean, the quad's worth more in parts than it is whole. You could buy one of these that are running that you can ride for like $4 grand, $3 grand, $3,500 and part it out and double your money plus some. So there's other stuff that I couldn't find prices on. Like I didn't find the steering stem or the tie rods, or I didn't find a used subframe, any of that stuff. But there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't even mention yet. So with the total of these parts plus what I sold the other day, we're over $7,000 just in parts. And I didn't even get to the plastics yet. I have all the plastics and their special edition plastics, $600-700. You know, we're going to be close to $8 grand if I piece this thing out, each individual piece. But till part 2, we're going to take the engine apart, rip it down, take it out of the frame. My whole goal today was to make room and get this thing out of the way, but it's still taking up the same amount of space. And now we have all this stuff here too. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please throw me a thumbs up, comment down there. Let me know what you guys think about the whole marketplace situation. Let me know, is it just me? Am I crazy? Probably. But let me know what you guys are having the same problems. Let me know I'm not the only one that deals with people on marketplace that do nothing but waste your time. I'd appreciate it. Make me feel a little bit more comfortable about putting shit on Marketplace for sale. If you guys are looking for any of these parts, feel free to send me an email at GarageMC549@gmail.com. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. See you in the garage later on this week to get the rest of this thing broke down. Have a good weekend.